the moral of the story is, I want to discuss like moments when you've either missed being single or wished you were single.
Yeah, I don't miss being single. And that's why I said maybe rephrase your question, because then my answer is a definite no.
Okay, I
Do I
get
flirt
that.
with being single at certain moments? Yeah.
Okay. Which moments?
When you've pissed me off.
Mm-hmm.
When you haven't closed the cupboards.
Okay.
When you've left the door open. Like,
okay. Are you just going to list all my wrongs on this
episode?
I'm joking. I'm joking.
Double tap.
Yes. Double tap, double click. Yes.
Where I'm like, if you're an African mother, you know, yeah, just you leave the door open. But there's an imaginary tail that you have, Jay, that now you can't close the door because it's gonna hurt your tail.
Okay.
Anyway, I think when life is just rough, man. Yeah.
I think
so. I don't miss being single, but in those moments,
you fantasize.
In those moments, I'm like, yes, maybe your word. I wish I was single in those moments.
And when you are wanting to be single in those moments, what does the fantasy look like?
No, dog, you answer your own question before we interrogate her.
I'm not interrogating you.
Do you miss being single?
I think actually you actually clarified when you said the way you answered it now about that you don't miss being single, right? But there are moments. And I was thinking about it yesterday and I was like, the only moments when I fantasize or miss being single or wish I was single is when things are rough, right? And it can go from like the thing of domestic stuff, you know, like we've spoken about washing dishes, and it's like the thing is that's like that's something that always happens. When we're good, when we are like sending, you know, memes. The other day we're listening to the User soundtrack.
Hey.
Anyway, that was like
Fun
it was midnight. We were fatigued. We were listening to that, and we were dying.
Yes,
like in those moments, I'm not. But it's only in the times where, because I think, ultimately, what I was thinking about was how, with being married, right? It's two lives that need to become one life. And that's not to say you don't have an identity or I don't have an identity or you don't have a purpose and I have a purpose. But it's the thing of if you forget that people were coming over to the house, that's going to affect my Saturday afternoon. I was expecting to sit and watch TV and now I have to cook or whatever, right? Like, I mean, that I don't think that's ever happened, but that's just an example of just the lives becoming one. Or if you decide, hey, I think I need to go to like Vietnam for 3 months, it's what does it mean for me? What does it mean for our family? It's those kind of questions. Yeah. And just the thing of, in those moments, it's been like, shucks, if I was single, I would just do whatever I wanted to do.
Like you'd go on solocations alone.
100%.
Easy.
And we will do, because I have thoughts about that 2.5 episodes.
Why does just answer the question? You do solocations.
Yeah. But I like doing stuff alone. Yeah. And you know that. Like I will sit at a restaurant by myself. I will just.
So why did you get married?
No, listen. You caught me off guard there, man. Why did you go there? I got married because I got married because I wanted to build a life with you. I saw our future and I obviously loved you very much. And I was like, Flip, I am better with this person. And I think he's better with me. And together we can do great things. Great things. Wait, let me finish my speech.
Come on.
Great things, which is like, yes, in the world and doing what we do out there, but also just how we build each other up. Right. So just like you've helped me grow and like become more confident and all of those things in ways that like none of my friendships ever did, or, you know, so yes. But the thing is, when you're in that height of like the romance and, you know, whatever, and when you imagine your wedding day, or you imagine when you're in the engagement period, that's if obviously you don't live together, you are not thinking about how the small things are going to irritate you. How if your partner is too frugal and you like spending, how that's going to affect your life or whatever the case may be. You're not thinking about that stuff. And it's only when there's challenges where there's this fantasy I have of, well, that's where I then fall into it. Yeah. Where I'm like, yes, if I was single, then I wouldn't have to deal with this and this and this and this. Yeah. And also for me, I have to be honest, I think because I lived at home right? From birth, obviously. And then,
Sure, dog.
well, hey man, people have different stories. But lived at home,
Yeah.
same place, you know, after the city.
After
into
the
burbs,
city.
after the city, after the
Come
violence,
on.
to the burbs.
Now people are wondering what city. Anyway, it's okay, yeah?
And then from there, lived there my whole life. And then even in university, never stayed at res, never stayed with people. I was at home and then got married and you were the next person I lived with. So I think the first place where I kind of have this romanticized idea of what it would mean to be single was honestly when my sister moved into her place. My sister is single, she lives by herself, and how like she was choosing like her couches, and it was very exciting, you know, like, you know, you're grown up when you're excited for curtains, right? So like she was choosing all those things and realizing that for me, I had never had that experience. I've had to figure out, and it's such a small thing, but like, so like for example, like when I go, let's say buy bedding for us, new bedding, and when I walk into the shop, I'm not immediately picking the design that I like. I have to think, because unlike other husbands who don't give a stuff, you actually care to a degree, obviously.
We nearly divorced when we renovated our house. Anyway,
I don't know if renovated is we
redecorated. While we were redecorating, we nearly divorced.
We nearly at Shamdo looking for material for curtains. I was like, I'm done with this man.
I'm leaving this girl for curtains.
I'm done with this man.
And I was like, will I be fine telling people I divorced for curtains?
Like in that moment, I remember thinking, why can't you be like other husbands who don't care?
Yeah.
Like other husbands are like, I just let my wife do whatever. And
you thinking, why aren't you like other husbands who don't care? And then I'm like, why aren't you like wives who appreciate, right? Who don't have this, who will cry for a husband who's involved in what color curtains we get.
I know. But
anyway.
You see, the thing is, and those are the times when I think, and it's like I'm saying, it's a small thing, but I think it's the idea of, I mean, we also got married young. I was 24, you were 25. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, 24, 25. So even there, you're still sort of figuring out who you are. And at the time, you don't think that that's what's happening. Right? Like consciously, you're not like, you're just kind of living your life. You think you have it together.
Yeah.
When I look back, I'm like, flip, yeah, there was a lot that I believed about myself or whatever it is, or a lot that I had to learn. And then you get there and like I'm saying, something as small as picking the bedding becomes what do I actually like? Wait, I'd have to think of what Black likes. Oh, okay. And then even then I'm like, what's it like to live alone? Like you just go and like you can come back anytime. But then I remember, the flip side of it, right? Like, and again, this is all romanticized. It's all it's just in the same way people romanticize certain aspects of being married, right? So the romanticized single, living 30-something-year-old doing her thing. I remember talking to a lady, I can't remember her name, it was years ago, and she was talking about how, so she was completely single, not married, no boyfriend, whatever, and she was like, dude, I was sick last week and there was nobody to go get my medication for me. And she's like, it's not a small thing, because when you're sick it absolutely sucks, but she's like, there's nobody to bring you your pills, there's nobody to make you a meal, there's nobody to, you still have to get up and cook, or get up and go order, or get up and get your medication, get up, like all of those things, get up and still do the laundry. And she's like, I just wished I had somebody to just help me in that, you know. And I'm like, I don't think of sort of that side, or the idea that, you know, nobody's necessarily waiting for you to get home, right? So anyway, that's the kind of thing where I'm like, yo, it's questions of, I wonder what personality I would have if I had been single up until this point. Would I even be living in this country? Like, I'm like, I really think you would have gone to like the deepest, darkest parts of Africa and like,
I would have been a missionary.
Been a mission, 100%.
Yep.
You know, and like that's kind of like oh, okay, that's a longing I know you have in your heart, like to do. And it's like, am I holding this person back? Is our marriage? Because then the question then is, I then need to believe in this thing, which goes back to, I
want to be single for him.
No, you can go be a missionary, and I'll live in like no, not an apartment. It won't be an apartment. It'll be like a little random cottage somewhere by the beach.
By the beach, cottage. Nah, I mean, think about the place we go to for holiday. You wouldn't want to be in a cottage there. You'd want to have a nice penthouse.
Yeah, but like cottage makes me feel real.
Sure, dog. Wow.